So you may remember this mower a couple videos ago. The entire engine was torn apart. You can see the camshafts and the crank. So today we got that put back together, and I'm pretty proud of it. I'm gonna start it up just to show you. It starts right up. And I went ahead and decided to make a video on this. I said in the video a couple days ago that I wasn't gonna make a video, but I changed my mind. I'll get it edited. It's a long edit. Pretty proud of that, so I'll get that washed up tomorrow with the pressure washer, and then we'll get it back to the customer. I told him Monday. This is Thursday. I told him I'd get it back to him by Monday, so hopefully I can get it back to him a little early. With folks around here, that may not always be possible because they may not have the money yet. You know, it's payday and all that, so you gotta keep to a schedule. So. But I got a lot of money sitting here. Guy brought in a pressure washer today, and I made money on that. He said it wouldn't start. I added oil. It was a little low, and also the oil drain plug was loose. So I tightened the drain plug, added oil, and it ran fine. I filled the well with, or the IBC tank. I ran the well, I should say, and filled the IBC tank with it. Ran fine. I ran it for probably an hour, and what I determined was it was probably too low on oil, and it shut off on that low oil switch. So that was easy money. So the guy is supposed to pick up this lawnmower, these two. They're supposed to pick that up tomorrow, and then this one just showed up as a little walk behind weed eater. And it's surging, so I put some seafoam in it. We'll see if that cleans it up. That's a hit or miss, but I'll let it sit overnight. We'll see if it works. If it works, then hey, that was easy money. If not, I'll have to order a carburetor. It's one of these plastic carburetors, and I'm not a big fan of breaking into those. I can do it, I just rather not if I don't have to. And the carburetor's 17 bucks, so it's just, it doesn't make sense to spend a bunch of time hoping you get that right, but I'll show you it's surging. Unless it's already cleared up. I think it's starting to clear up. I'm going to have to adjust the idle though, it's a little low. So the seafoam's already working. I'll let that sit in there a little while longer and see how that does. That's great. It's only been a couple hours since I put that in. And then tomorrow's project, I'm going to work on the truck, and it's not going to take long. I'm going to change the oil, and let's see, I got the oil filters in the back of the truck. Got the oil. I got the second PCV valve. You may remember a couple videos ago I put in the back one, but I didn't realize there was two valves. So I got the second one. We'll put that one in, and then I ordered some more variable valve timing solenoids. The thing is Carolyn said, let's just do it right. Let's do everything fresh. So we spent $30, and we changed them probably 2 months ago. But let's just start fresh, she said. So we're going to change these again. So that's another 30 bucks. And the thing is these are aftermarket, and there was a couple reviews on Amazon that said, hey, they lasted for about 2 weeks and then they quit working. So if these quit working, I might just, if they work for a couple of weeks and they quit working, I just might as well go spend the $90 on the OEM. And then I got the oil. And I you know, 5W20, it's what it calls for. So I'm going to go show you that it calls for it, and everything I look up says 5W20. So hopefully I got it right. We'll open it up here. It's hard to do with one hand for some reason. And so 5W20 right there. So hopefully we got it right. Then so I'll do that tomorrow. And then hopefully all the problems will go away, because I called the mechanic and they said how much would it cost to change the oil pump, and it's $2,000. And boy, I tell you, I sure wouldn't want to spend that. I mean, this is why we have a savings account, but boy, I don't want to spend it. Hopefully we'll get this resolved. It just doesn't seem like it's an oil pressure problem. The oil pressure's fine. But I talked to the mechanic and he said, look, you know, we're not just going to jump in there and change the oil pump. We'll look into it and see if there's some other issue. So, but I think I've covered everything. Oh, I missed this one. I got to do a service on this one. This one came in yesterday. I already ordered the parts for it. They should be here Monday. Put on some new blades. He gave me the blades. This is a monster. So I don't know, it just looks big. It's the same size engine that I've worked on before. It just looks huge. I don't know. So, you know, you obviously know that I'm not a big people person. I've had my issues with them, and I like to try to stay away from them as much as possible. Of course, I run this small engine repair business. I'm sorry if I wasn't in the camera. I got turned a little bit. So that means I got to deal with people. And I know the trolls just love to say, oh, I told you, you're not going to be able to run a small engine repair business because you don't like people. Well, yeah, you're being extreme. I mean, I understand I got to work with people, but I don't like it. And so I don't want to tell you who this person is that I have a problem with, but it's a prominent person in the area. Aggravated me seriously bad. So this guy drives by every day, and occasionally he stops to chat about lawnmowers. So a while back he picked up a free lawnmower, and this was way back in the winter. He stopped, maybe even last fall, and he stopped by after, you know, after hours. It was late in the day, probably about this time. Right now it's like 7:30. So he stops and he's asking me a bunch of questions about lawnmowers. And I'm getting the impression that he wants me to go pick up a lawnmower, and all I'm waiting for is him to ask, because I don't want to volunteer. It's a thing. I don't want to volunteer that service, but if they ask, I'll do it. But he never asked, and that was the last I heard about this. I mean, he drives by every day, he waves, the whole thing. So a few days ago, he stops, and I'm standing in his window in the middle of the road, and he's yapping at me about this lawnmower. And he says it's smoking when he engages the mower blade. Now, I've had this problem before, last August as a matter of fact. And every time I engaged the mower blade, it would just billow out smoke. It was under a load. And when it was under a load, so it was the head gasket. And I said, oh, I've had that problem before. The one I had last August was a head gasket. And so I guess that was the information he needed. I mean, he stood out there for, made me stand out there for like 15 minutes while he asked about this lawnmower. Now, I don't feel like I gave a thorough diagnostic. One of the things that indicates a head gasket is you run it, you pull the dipstick out, and if smoke comes out, that's another indication it's a head gasket. Well, I didn't tell him that. Not that I was trying to hide it. Now, I thought he was thinking about bringing it to me to get it fixed. So, I was just trying to say, I think I can figure it out for you. Because he figured it was the rings needed replaced. So, the other day, there was a customer here picking up a lawnmower. It was John Deere. I put in a push-button switch. And he stops. And with the customer here, says, that didn't work. You told me that was good work. That didn't work. I spent $10 or $15, whatever it was, replacing that head gasket. And when I took the head gasket off, and there's nothing wrong with it. So the thing is, he didn't even know if it worked or not because he hasn't put on a new one. And I said, so there's no rip in it in the center between the valves and the... I looked up YouTube videos. I know what I'm looking for. No, that's not what it was. I said, oh, okay, well, he drives off, and my customer says, oh, so you have a dissatisfied customer. No, I don't. Well, what's he upset about? And I had to go through the whole thing with my customer about what happened. The guy stopped us in the middle of the road, asked me about his smoking problem from his lawnmower, and I said, hey, I had a similar problem last August on the customer's lawnmower. I haven't even seen it. I don't know anything about this lawnmower. I just threw it out. It could be a head gasket. So now my customer is like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. If I'd have been diagnosed, I would have found the problem. I'd have figured it out. I could have taken my endoscope into the cylinder walls to see if there was any scoring. Could have done a compression test. Of course, you got the compression relief. You got to take that into consideration. I could check the... I'm going to light up the torch here because the mosquitoes are out. And that torch actually does a really good job. It's a tiki torch or something. I don't know what it is. So, I could have... of course, I would have taken the oil dipstick out to see if there's any smoke coming out of it. And then I could have checked the valve seal. Because those can leak sometimes. And it also depends on how much smoke is coming out. The indication I got, it was a lot of smoke. So he comes back today, 2 days later, after my customer has quizzed me about the integrity of my diagnostic abilities. And he says, and he starts to hand it to me. The head gasket, the one he's taken off. I said, I'm not looking at that. And I said, why would I look at that? You insulted me, and what I said, you griped at me in front of my customer, and I didn't even get any money from you. I don't know anything about your lawnmower. So, now he's mad at me. The guy who got free advice is mad at me, not only because the head gasket wasn't right, it wasn't the right diagnostic. Now he's mad at me because I won't look at the old one. And he wants me to do all this for free. I don't understand people. I cannot understand it. He knows I get paid for this service. This is what I do for a living. And he wants me to do it for free, or diagnose it for free. And I don't understand people. That generator I just told you about. I said, I'm going to charge you a diagnostic fee for that. He says, of course you are. Why wouldn't you? This is your job. This is what you do to get paid. I brought it to you. You added oil. You fixed it. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. But there are a lot of people who would think, you didn't do anything to it. You just started it up and it started running fine for you. And they wouldn't want to pay. Well, that's what this guy is. He doesn't want to pay anything. He doesn't want to pay the $10 or $15 for a new head gasket, even though, it could have been a solution. He just wants it fixed, and he doesn't want to put a lot of work into it, doesn't want to put a lot of money into it. And whose fault is it when it doesn't run? Mine. How is that possible? I haven't even seen that. I don't even, he says it's John Deere, but I don't know if it's John Deere or not. So he gets a free lawnmower. It doesn't run. So whose fault is it? Mine. I just get frustrated with people, and this is why. So if you'll click the next box, it'll take you a video over to my other channel. I really appreciate it if you go check it out. So I hope I can inspire you. Just deal with the people the best you can so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.